Welcome to Pondering Prose, where we cultivate conscious conversation and connections about creativity. Sponsored by Our Galaxy Publishing. Hi, and welcome to Pondering Prose. Today we welcome author Sarina Siebenaler to the conversation. Sarina, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, April. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Absolutely. So, one of the main things that I've always been curious about following your social media and following all of your successes with your books is what is a thing that you want your creativity to lead to most?
Well, I think the reason why I wrote the book is because I wanted to reach a readership, particularly that of struggled and reluctant readers. Um, I know we were talking earlier and we were chatting about, the story within who we are as creators and how these writing discoveries or creative outlets, how they manifest. And so for me, it was a lot to do with my own children. They're very entertaining. They were smaller, of course, when I first started writing. But my son, who has autism, has always been a struggled and reluctant reader. And it was very hard to motivate sitting down with him and reading a story. And as much so as we've had so many picture books in the house, I always thought, gosh, I would love, love, love to write a story to help an audience to not only help with early literacy, but also encourage motivation to read. So my son has always enjoyed silly books. And so that's kind of where that started. And then words that rhyme. So those are kind of the key elements that helped him become a better reader. So I just decided that I wanted to target an audience that I could actually make a difference for. If that was, that was my hope anyway. And so I'm hoping that that's what I'm doing as I write each book. But and within that also comprehension, there's a comprehension piece that I want to make sure that we're not just readers, but we're also understanding what we read, and we're able to answer, like the who, what, when, where, how questions that are really important. So and that it's fun, right? At the end of my books, I always like to offer free educational resources for kids and parents and teachers to print out so they can do activities to accompany the stories that they read, and hopefully it engages in more conversation too.
Oh my gosh, coming from the classroom, like the educators thank authors for that. Huge.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear.
You wouldn't know, absolutely. And you wouldn't think that the kids would also be interested in that. But like you said, when they're interested in a theme or a topic or a book or a character, they want to be able to give you their thoughts. And they really do. I had so many students at the end of those really funny books, like your books, that they wanted to have those conversations. So teachers absolutely appreciate that additional support that's at the end of the books. Yes.
That's good to hear. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I'll continue to do that. I know it's been beneficial for us when we see things like that, those resources. So, yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun, and very, very humbling to see that, your books are out there in the world and people are actually reading them,
Oh my gosh, yes.
So
Yes.
fun and
No,
so
what
rewarding.
what is your son like? How does your son respond to mom being, this amazing children's book author, that she made this and it's for him, right?
Well, it's funny that you say that because he could care less. I mean, honestly, my kids know what I do, and it's obviously they love the creative side because I get them on board, and I allow them to give me their feedback and give me some creative input, because obviously it's a child that's reading it and they're children. So I think that they would have the rite of passage to be able to give me some feedback, and they really enjoyed that piece of it. Now,
What are your current writing or your publishing goals? Like how are you going to go after them, like moving forward?
well, I'm in the mindset where I'm a mom first, and I do other things outside of, just publishing books, and it's a big project. It's not, something small. I think a lot of people think like, oh, there's a book out there and it's done, but there's a lot of like idiosyncrasies and like details, and like a list and list and list of all of the back behind the scenes things that happen before a book is published. And you've got to get your ducks in a row. And then there's the launch, right? The launch takes a lot of time. And then there's the follow up to the launch and the marketing and all of those things. And so I'm not one of those authors that like to or can. I don't have like books that have been written or stories that have been written, that are on the back burner that are just waiting to be illustrated. So I tend to do book to book. And I just released my Do Not Wish for a Birthday Unicorn in January. Gosh, I can't believe it's almost a year now. And then I am working on book 3. I'm almost done writing it. Of course, it'll go to the editor, and then I've got an illustrate. My illustrations will start in February, because I have a meeting to start in February with my illustrator, which I'm excited about. I always say it's the wonderful person that illustrates the stories that I write is Gabby Correa, and she's in South Africa. And I always say it's my Gabby time because I miss her. It's like a year after a book has been published and I'm working with her again. So I look forward to that because she's just, as you know, you do both. You're a writer and an artist. But for me, I have ideas of what I want inputted into the book that creates, it becomes, art. But Gabby also uses her creative mind and adds so much more. And it's like more than that, it's like embellished like 1,000 times over. And so I get super excited. I always say, like, whenever I work with her and she starts handing me or sending me the sketches and then the rendering and all of that stuff, I feel like she's giving me Christmas gifts,
Yes.
because it's just like more than I could have ever asked for. So I get really excited. That's actually my favorite part, after the writing process, is working with Gabby. So I'll start working on that in February. It's a Christmas book, so it won't be released until later in the year, probably a couple of months, maybe 3 months before Christmas. I mean, it's like kind of on my own schedule. My promise is that I'll have it released by next year. And that will happen, but I don't promise when. I just kind of do it on my own pace and time, because otherwise it becomes too overwhelming with everything else that I have going on. And I always want to make sure that I have the flexibility of being there for my family. Um, because it'll just be released when it's released. And you just kind of have to go with the flow and not rush through things, because who needs to stress?
Right.
I'm just going to do it in my own time. So my goal is to have that book published 2023 and then start on my next book. And hopefully in 2024, I'll have another one released. So
Now, so do you think everyone is born creative, or is it something that needs to be practiced?
I think both, actually. So I think we're all born with creativity, whatever that may be. If you're a musician, you play, a musical, and you're an entertainer, you tell great jokes, or you're just so kind, like, and that you do kind deeds, and everybody wants to be your friend because you just have this like beautiful, positive aura around you. That's like a creative spirit, right? And making people feel good, that's a creative spirit. I mean, I just think whatever it is that's inside you, I think what happens is that everybody will find their way in time. I've always loved poetry. I've always loved art. I didn't know that the two was going to tie together and I was going to start writing children's books until after I had kids. I was already a grown up, you know, and, um, but there are things that have come out of this publishing business that I've learned over time that I do better. And without that, research and speaking to other people and creating bonds through networking, I would have never found that. And even like just the marketing side of things, I never thought in a million years that writing a book required marketing. But I built my own website and I had to use a creative sense to do that because it's all marketing material. It's all, and I'm not somebody really that likes to have attention focused on myself. So it was really difficult for me to come out of that, that comfort zone of like finding out what there is to do in order to do it and putting myself out there for the public. I mean, it's just not something that I would have ever thought that or dreamt that would happen to me. But I know that there's a lot of people that want to see the person behind the book.
Yeah.
And so, and in order to do that, I have to, promote myself in a sense, right? I don't have to tell you all of my private, information, but it's nice to know that there's a real person behind a product and what they're doing and what work there is that's tied into that. So I built my own website. That's creative. I didn't know how to do that. I'm not a web developer.
Yeah.
I've
luckily now, like there's so much software that's out there that's available, but it's step by step. So it's kind of like just drag
Sure.
and drop and let's create what
Sure.
we would want to if we were going to somebody's site. This is what I want to see in somebody else's site. Let me put it on mine. And
Right.
that's so nice now that we can, have that option.
That's right.
Stuff
That's
like
right.
that.
And then, of course, there's now I'm researching like, okay, how do I build onto my Google Analytics? Just the all encompassing like SEO stuff and, the stuff that I'm really not designed, I feel like, to do. But it is my business. I do everything from scratch. I don't have a team of people helping me. I'm a one-stop shop. This is who does it all. So whatever you see that goes out into the universe is what I've done. So, and of course, I've given credit to those that have helped me along the way, but yeah, I mean, and I think that if you work hard and you have the passion and desire, those creative abilities just flourish. So
That's
I think it
awesome.
really just is that burning desire to do something. And then once you become motivated and driven to do it, all of the things kind of build into this like beautiful picture of things. So I would just say everybody they're born with creativity. You just have to find your creative outlet and what
Yeah.
actually makes you feel good about doing it and what you're giving out to the world. So for me, I've always been a person of service. I love to help others. I love to make a difference in other people's lives. And so I knew whatever I was going to do, it was going to do that. I was just lucky enough to find something that I enjoy doing, um, to be able to give it out into the world.
What is something that you would say to an aspiring writer to help them out? Like basically saying, something that you would tell yourself way back when. So, like looking at your own creative journey, what's something that you would say to little Sarina if you could?
Oh, okay. So, oh gosh, if I could say something back to my little self, I mean, does it count to say that I would invest in like Facebook or Instagram? I
Yes.
mean, no, 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 no. I mean, that would have been nice, but that was somebody else's ticket. I would definitely say know your worth. I think that a lot of times kids feel like they're not enough, that they're not doing their best, or they could be doing better, or that they're a people pleaser and they want other people to or just to be like other people, like they're not being their true self because they're wanting to be like somebody else. Say be yourself, because yourself is all you got. know your worth and take care of it. Take care of that worth, whether it be your body, because it's the only body that you'll ever have. If I could do things different, I wouldn't have gone to Jack in the Box in my college years all the time. I mean, just the things like I wouldn't have eaten ramen noodles, um, as much as I did. I mean, you live and you learn, and you find people that kind of lead by example. I always have been somebody who have always tried to take leadership qualities from people and make them my own, especially if they resonated with me. Um, but yeah, I would just say know your worth and value that worth and um, be you. Don't be anybody else but yourself, because the more you work on just feeling yourself and being within your body, the more you are going to be making a difference in whatever world you live in, like whatever it is in your present life. So that to me is really important. And what I would say to an aspiring writer or somebody who wants to self-publish is know that you have to market. That's the first thing, because I didn't know that. And take your time. Make sure that you're doing all of the things you need to get that quality product out. Don't skip through steps. Focus on researching, reach out and touch somebody if you know that they have the knowledge that you need. Don't be afraid of mentorship. I have had so many mentors in my self-publishing journey that have been so fantastic for me. And I have so much gratitude for them. And don't be afraid to pay for it, because it's an investment in your product. The more you know, the more you grow. And I feel like I say that to my kids a lot. But it's true in anything that you do. I research still. I have so much to learn. I don't know everything. Um, there's always new trends out there. Don't feel like you have to follow all the trends too. Like, I think that breaking the rules sometimes is okay. I think doing it your way could actually become a trend. So, and just create your own village. Like you and I were just talking about, having that village, that tribe is so important. You feel like you have the support there to carry on and do all the hard stuff that comes along with writing and creating and putting out a product. So I would definitely say do your research, don't skip any steps, and do not rush. And everything can be fixed. You don't think it can in the moment, but there are a lot of things that can go wrong, and all of it can be fixed. So, and publishing is evergreen. You can always evolve and make things better with your product. You can unpublish, you can fix things, you can, re-look at your cover and see if it needs to be adjusted or changed. And, look at your blurb, your description, and see what
I
needs
love
to
that you can
happen
change
there.
that.
Yeah, I mean, it's everything. It's your product detail page, it's your website, it's your Instagram, it's your Facebook or your TikTok or your whatever it is. You can always rebrand yourself. You can always evolve. Nothing is urgent. Don't let anybody tell you you have to publish on this date. If you're not ready, don't do it. Do not push that button. Do not announce it. Do it in your own speed, your own pace, and do not let it make you feel like you're inadequate or you don't know enough.
Well, thank you so much for just speaking with us today and all of your amazing insight. I mean, I really appreciate you for being here.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Hopefully, we'll speak again soon. And it was
Yes.
my honor and pleasure to have met you face to face and to have this chit chat and get to know each other better.
Thanks for watching today's episode of Pondering Prose, sponsored by Our Galaxy Publishing. Don't forget to hit subscribe to be updated on our latest videos.